From my early childhood to today, I struggle to develop verbal, written, and communication skills. Learning and retaining information comes more difficult to me than most students. Many would say that my struggle comes from being lazy or uneducated. However, this is not the case. I'm a student that struggles with dyslexia. Today I would like to inform you about the causes, symptoms, treatments, and personal experiences in famous individuals who have dyslexia. Dyslexia is defined by the U.S. National Institute of Health as a learning disability that hinders a person's ability to read, write, spell, and speak. Children with dyslexia have a hard time learning to read with regular instruction, at least an average intelligence, and equal opportunity to learn. Dyslexia is considered to be a neurological disorder that causes individuals' brains to process and interpret different information differently. According to the International Dyslexia Association, 15 to 20% of the American population has some symptoms of dyslexia that include slow or inaccurate reading, poor spelling or writing, and mixing up similar words. It is a proven fact that usually more than one member in a family suffers from dyslexia. Common signs and symptoms that are associated with dyslexia are learning to read, milestones reached later in life such as crawling, walking, or talking, slow at learning sets of data, coordination, and sequencing ideas. Often a sign that your child may have dyslexia is if your child commonly gets the left and the right mixed up, and if he or she reverses numbers and letters without realizing it. This is an example of a child mixing up their letters. Children with dyslexia tend to have a harder time concentrating for long periods of time than other children do. As the number of children with dyslexia increases, they also tend to have ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. People that struggle with dyslexia tend to more likely develop autoimmune diseases such as asthma and allergies. You may be asking yourself what causes dyslexia. Doctors and researchers have no clear evidence of what causes a person to develop dyslexia. Some evidence is pointed toward that the condition is inherited and often runs down from families. A small minority of people that suffer from dyslexia can acquire the condition after they are born. The most common causes of acquiring dyslexia are from brain injuries, strokes, and other types of trauma. Reading and writing comes difficult to people that struggle with dyslexia because of phonological processing impairment. This is the National Health Services. A professional evaluation regarding if your child suffers from dyslexia can lead to a better understanding of the issue and a clearer and more effective step to treatment. Running tests can open the door to more support and eligibility for special education support programs, services later on for colleges and universities. The National Center for Learning and Disabilities states that people can be tested for dyslexia at any age, but the type of test will vary depending on the age of the patient. When testing younger children, the examiner will be focusing on a child's phonological processing, how the child expresses him or herself, their ability to sound out words, and their language abilities. The International Dyslexia Association says a diagnostic test should cover all the following areas: background information, intelligence, oral language skills, word recognition, fluency skills, reading comprehension, vocabulary knowledge. Throughout the testing process, the examiner needs to draw out conclusions or problems that may show similar symptoms. A few examples are vision problems, hearing impairment, lack of instruction, and socio-economic factors. Family members need to remember that dyslexia is not a disease, but there's no cure for dyslexia. But however, there are a variety of specialists that target interventions that can help children and adults improve their reading and writing skills. Children diagnosed with dyslexia will only miss a few hours of school each week to receive educational support, which may consist of one-on-one teaching or a small group setting. But in other cases, dyslexia can be more severe, which can lead to moving your child to a specialized school. But unfortunately, those schools aren't always available. The sooner you get diagnosed and receive support, it is more likely to achieve long-term achievements and improvements. A certain method that many children like is tracing their finger around the shape of the letters to help them process data more efficiently. The skills the child will improve on are learning to recognize phononyms, understanding that these phononyms are represented by letters or groups of letters strung together, reading out loud, vocabulary building, and reading comprehension. A child's self-esteem and personal ambitions will be reminded through the challenges that they face with reading and writing. Dyslexia affects millions of people daily. Even some of the most famous celebrities have suffered and lived with it. Some famous names that may sound familiar to you are Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, Tom Cruise, Steve Jobs, Patrick Dempsey, David Rockefeller, Jay Leno, and many others have suffered with it. A specific actor named Tom Cruise was diagnosed at the age of 7 with dyslexia. Cruise stated in an ABC News interview that he would concentrate on reading, but by the end of the page, he would have very little memory of anything he read. I would go blank, feel anxious, nervous, bored, frustrated, and dumb. Cruise states that he only got through school in the early years of his career by the sheer will, before learning about the Scientology study technology in 1986. Tom praises study technology, that it helped him overcome dyslexia. Today, I have told you about the causes, symptoms, treatments, personal experiences, and famous individuals with dyslexia. Hopefully you are now more informed about the condition and will think twice about calling someone uneducated or lazy if they suffer from dyslexia. This is a book that my mother used when I suffered with dyslexia when I was younger.
Get the dogs. Get the dogs.